So first off, one of the big things that people took away from this event. If you guys didn't know, this event was supposed to be presented as it was only third-party stuff, and it was supposed to be PlayStation VR2 oriented games. Now, luckily, Sony actually had some first-party oriented stuff to show here, which I was actually really happy about. But they started the show off of right off the bat with Resident Evil 4 remake. What about you, Phoenix? Anything? I know you're not a spoopy game type of person.
I mean, Resident Evil is about my speed. Like, here's the thing: I like creepy stuff. I don't like jump scary stuff. So, like, Resident Evil doesn't usually have a whole lot of that. So I'm usually on board for it. I mean, that's why I like something like Stranger Things. It's not, jump scary. But no, I mean, Resident Evil 4, that's the classic one, right? I mean, everybody loves 4. And I'll tell you, I really like they tied this in with the VR stuff, because they just did the Resident Evil 4 VR with Oculus, and that was really cool. I didn't play the whole thing yet, but I was playing with the nephews, and it was cool, man. It worked really well. So to think they're going to have an up-resed version of it on newer VR tech, I think that's going to be a cool thing.
No. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I've been finding myself enjoying Resident Evil games more and more. For the large part of my life, I was not a scary game player, and just, I'd say in the last decade, I've started to, like, really get into them, and it all started with, I'd say that first BioShock game. I know that's not a pure scary game, but there were definitely horror elements in it that, like, were definitely, like, my introduction, where I'm like, I kind of like this kind of stuff.
I noped out of the first BioShock the first time I played it. I was like, I must have been like 13 or something, and I downloaded the demo.
Going down.
Yeah, I downloaded the demo, which doesn't go real far, and I played it like 2 o'clock in the morning, like, all the lights off, and I got to that bathysphere part where you come up, and she's like slicing it up, the door opens, and I'm like, nope, turned off my 360 right then.
I love that game. That game's so good.
Yeah, I love it. I came back and I played it, and it was not as creepy or scary as it lets on. Those first few minutes, though, they set a tone.
Yeah, so. And I would say another game that actually really got me into it was Dead Space, because I played Dead Space not long after that, and I love sci-fi and horror. It's a great combo.
I never played that one. My buddy was playing it, and there were enough jump scares watching him do it that I'm like, nope. So.
But yeah, so as far as for they did announce that with Resident Evil 4, they are making a remake version of it, or a VR version of it, which will be really cool. They just kind of said that that's in development. And then immediately after that, they said that Resident Evil Village or Resident Evil 8 will also be getting VR content as well, which a lot of people, I guess it makes sense. A lot of people have been saying that why didn't that game launch with VR capabilities right off the bat? I would assume creating something in VR is almost like creating a whole new game, so that's probably
Not
why.
necessarily.
Really?
I mean, it depends. I mean, there's certainly things that don't work in, VR that work, it's on a standard game, but like interface stuff and the way you move around, but it's not like they had to rebuild a whole game. There's probably enough effort on UI and navigation and stuff that they didn't want to release it at the time. Plus, I'm sure they wanted to release it with the fancy new Sony VR2 headsets, launch title kind of thing. So I'm sure that was part of it. But,
oh man, you know the real reason why people want to play this game in VR, right?
Big lady vampire.
You want to see that big woman?
Buddy.
I was watching Angry Joe earlier, and he was like, "I can't wait to stand underneath her." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Everybody's talking about that, but the moment that I think they're going to realize they don't want VR is when they get to that baby scene.
The one you only watched because I was streaming it. That was scary.
Yeah. Oh man, can just imagine that being like in VR in that hallway with that thing chasing you.
I like scary games. I'm not playing.
Oh no, I will buy the game for my PS5 with the VR headsets just to watch you play it.
I'll do it on stream if you buy all that. But man, that's gonna be scary. Like that was like I was legitimately frightened playing that on stream.
That was the creepiest part of that game.
But yeah, definitely cool. I'm gonna be honest.
What does the Magic 8 Ball say, Jackie? Are you a fan of VR?
Are you a spoopy fan?
Hold on.
Maybe someday. Perhaps.
Better not tell you now.
What?
Oh.
It says better not tell you now.
Off stream.
I don't like Resident Evil to play it. Because I'm just more of a hack and slash player. Like, I'm not into like aiming and shooting and first person and puzzles. Like, no, I don't want any puzzles. And I feel like Resident Evil is a bunch of puzzles, but I like speedruns watching them. It's not my favorite to play through.
I agree. Like, I find myself, like, since I've been getting into Resident Evil games the last few years, Phoenix can tell you, I'm not a puzzle guy. I enjoy those games for a lot of their action elements and fighting with the monsters, but like
Plebeians.
when it start getting into puzzles, I'm just like, ugh.
Like, oh, this medallion crest area is a picture of a hawk, and so you have to find
I live for that kind
the
of stuff.
medallion on the other side, and then you have to walk that thing all the way
I
back
want a
over to the
game
other
where
one.
I need a notebook where I got to write down everything and draw pictures and like have my cryptography manual next to me so I can break down ciphers.
Wasn't that
All
that
about
game?
that.
Witness, The Witness, wasn't that like that type of game?
Yeah,
People were
man, some
talking
of those
about-
puzzles are weird. A lot of those, and they were puzzles, but they were all like visual puzzles. So
I
that one
said I would
kind of burned me out.
I would never play that game. That
It just burns you out. Like I don't want to get onto it, but if you're into puzzle games, I actually don't recommend that one. It's a lot of the same kind of puzzles over and over and over
Really?
again, which I thought was a little monotonous.
yeah.
So once I master it, I'd be good at it. So it'd be a good puzzle game for me. Master
Right,
one
that-
puzzle, and then I get them all.
That's the downside about puzzle games is like once you played it, you know all the puzzles, so you know,
Yeah.
no fun anymore.
All right, so our next, I didn't even know this was a sequel. I mean, there's this game called The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners Retribution Chapter 2. I didn't even know about a first Saints and Sinners game, which I thought it was interesting. I mean, a lot of people thought at first it was Dying Light or some sort of Dying Light VR, but yeah, I mean, anything. There's nothing. I could care less about Walking Dead.
This
IP.
does not look good to me. I haven't played a lot of the Walking. I mean, I knew there was a Saints and Sinners VR before, and I think it got decent reviews on it. But I'll tell you, in general, the Walking Dead games are not great. At least the ones I played.
Only
The
Telltale.
graphics on this look real dated. Like
Mhm.
I can't tell if they're going for a realistic style or a cartoony style, or if it's just unpolished. Yeah, it does not look good to me. And here's I think the biggest kicker: you have a zombie game in this going up against zombie games with Resident Evil, and
Yeah.
I mean Resident Evil for me is going to win hands down. I know the gameplay is going to be different to a certain extent, but I don't know. I could be just me. I'm not the market for this. I said I'm not a Walking Dead fan either anymore. So
It
maybe
doesn't
those
even
who are
look-
really into it.
It doesn't even look scary. Like it's so bright. It's all out in the open. The zombies are slow. I don't see any diversity within these zombie types. I mean,
Mm.
well, the whole point of The Walking Dead is that I'm assuming there'll be human factions that are like up against. So you'll be fighting zombies and human factions, but it's like I've never
That seems a little
found
one note.
I've never found that stuff to be entertaining for The Walking Dead. But
Yeah, I'm not into this, but somebody might be. So, yay!
somebody you're insulting somebody out there. They're like, that's my game.
And that's fair. As I don't know anything about the game, so I won't come
I
too harsh.
agree.
But the graphics look rough.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
Next is a game I've been meaning to play for the longest time. I mean, what is this? No Man's Sky.
This might get me
This
to
might
do
be
it.
cool in VR. Yeah, getting to see all the monsters and stuff.
Like I've been putting it off too because I mean we all know how terrible it launched. But I've been hearing all the free updates it's been getting and how much effort the developers have been putting into it. And I mean, it looks cool. I mean, I've always liked the aesthetic of it. Navigating to planets and all that looks like fun. And in VR, as long as it's handled well, I think it'll be a really cool experience. I know a lot of people favorite VR games are like what is it? Elite
Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous, yeah. Like stuff like that where like inside the cockpit or even like what was it? Rogue, Star Wars Rogue. No, just Squadrons. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Rogue Squadron. Like just being in the cockpit for a VR kind of thing. That fits really well because you don't have to move around. You can just kind of engage with the instrument panels and stuff. So I don't know. I think that might be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not. If I'm gonna play this game, I still haven't played the normal version. I think I'd rather play the normal version first. I mean, I'm not a VR really oriented guy, but who knows? We'll move on to something else that I actually know you really like. I've never played any of these, but the Horizon guys announced they have a new VR game called what is it? It's like Call of the Mountain, I think it is.
Something. I don't remember the subtitle.
But yeah, I actually think this, in terms of visuals, look like one of the prettiest games. Maybe I heard somebody say that they think this could rival what was the Half-Life Alyx in terms of how good a VR game looks. 'Cause I know a lot of people consider that to be the best looking.
Alex
VR.
did look really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this will be another one I fully expect you to play. This seems like you're up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, I like Horizon. I still haven't played the new one. Haven't had a chance to. I don't know. Like, I am very much into Horizon. I'm just not sure how the gameplay is going to translate, because what I liked about Horizon is just how quick it was, like the moment-to-moment kind of strategy to take down the robot dinosaurs. I know they have that here. I just feel like it's going to be so much slower since, I assume you're not going to run around like you normally do. Like the navigational element of this is going to be a little awkward. So I think it's going to be very much a wait and see. Like the reason Alex worked so well is it was a slow-paced kind of action game. Like you weren't like running around. You could just move out of the way quickly if something was chasing you. But this game, I feel like you're going to need some control. I don't know, or it's going to feel a little too stagnant to kind of stay in one place.
Seems like one JC might like. Like it's not like, I don't know. Like it's not like a horror oriented, but like it seems like one I would want to play in VR. Like it's not horror, but there's like a lot of action elements, and it definitely seems a little more cinematic, which I kind of like. Like if I'm gonna play VR, I want like the full cinematic.
You want it to be
immersive.
beautiful, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And it looks very immersive. I like the shots, that they're stepping over you and underwater. It seems very. Like I can get behind that. Like,
and there's a lot of like platforming, which I can imagine that's terrifying. Probably in VR platforming.
Yeah, I think it's going
to look that Walk the Plank game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I played that.
I'm just mostly concerned about the moment-to-moment gameplay. Like I think it's going to look cool, and being in the environment's going to be cool. But how well is it going to play? So I don't know. We'll see.
No.
I don't need to play. I can just walk around, right? Take a little.
Stay in the opening area. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So. That was actually, was there something I skipped? No? Alright, well, one thing that actually was really cool is we got an announcement after Sony over many years saying that first-party games will never go to PC. Well, now all of a sudden, they've been seeing a lot of, apparently, good revenue. So you're getting is this the first one, right? Not Miles Morales? This is the original Spider-Man game?
This is the first. I think I read, unless I misread, that they are going to bring Miles shortly after.
Interesting, but yeah, I haven't played this game either. So I have the game, I just don't have a PS4. But I don't know. This might be one that I'd totally buy on Steam or whatever launcher. Does Sony have their own app? No.
They've been doing everything through Steam, which is a good idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, if I definitely expect that maybe I'll buy it through Steam and want to play this one. This will look pretty, I think. And this is a game that I know Phoenix. This is one of your favorite games over the last decade? Maybe just superhero game?
I guess if you're going to put it in that category, like, this is a great game. It's not like, top 10 games ever made kind of thing, but like if you're a Spider-Man fan, especially if remember old Spider-Man, it's like Spider-Man 2, the classic first one, let you swing through the city for the first time. This is the evolution of that, and it feels so good. Like the most or the best part of this game is just swinging around. Like the story's good, yes, the game, moment-to-moment combat's great, but the swinging mechanics, man, that's where it's at. So if you at all care about Spider-Man, this is the game to play.
That's why the Arkham series is one of my favorite game trilogies ever. It's just
makes you feel like Batman.
That
makes you feel like Spider-Man.
The whole flying mechanics in those games were just so darn good. Like just slinging around and using the grapple shot. Like I can imagine Spider-Man would be incredible to play.
Yeah, great game. It's great to see it coming on PC, and I'm glad to see that Sony's putting more things on PC. I mean, here pretty soon, I think all their big PS4 exclusives pretty much be there, barring a couple. Like God of War is already there. Isn't the Uncharted collection there or about to come? Is that what they're talking about?
I don't know.
I feel like they're putting a lot of their IPs here, which is good. I mean, for those who don't want to pony up to buy a PS4 or eventually PS5, that's a good way to get your hands on those games.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll move on to another interesting one I know a lot of people have liked, is the game called Stray. This is the kitty cat game. It's where you play as a kitty cat, and there's some sort of like futuristic, maybe alien world where there's like robots and who knows what's going on. I think the kitty's probably an alien of some sort. But yeah, it's by EnteR, which is a big developer. They make a lot of good stuff, but I definitely think this is one I want to play. I just want to play as a cat and run around and jump on some stuff.
And I want to be a cat. That's a life. No, I like the way this one looks, definitely.
I don't know. It looks boring to me. I'm sorry. I mean, so the gimmick's you're a cat, but if you weren't a cat, if this was any other game and you were as a person, like, what's interesting about this?
Are you into sim games? Because I could just live a game as a cat, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it just looks fun. I mean, I think this is one where I definitely think though, like 5 hours
Little
in,
snarl snake there.
5 hours in, you're just like, I get it. I'm a cat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool idea, I guess, but you replace the cat with any other character, and it's just another action,
What
stealth
about like a
platformer kind of
raccoon?
thing.
It's gonna be
Oh,
a
okay.
different kind of
That'd be a
animal.
whole different thing.
I don't know if
This is the
Hamster.
next Sly Cooper, Chaz.
if anyone's
This is
worried
the
about
change.
if anyone's worried about how much they might like it or not, I think they announced that this game is coming straight to the PS Plus. So at least there's that where you don't have to if you're curious about it, you don't have to pay full price.
Here's what they need to do: make it VR. Now, if I can be a cat in VR,
Whoa, that's a good idea. All right, pitch that thing.
That would be terrible. I mean, how
you have to crawl
how
down and run
uncomfortable would
all
that be?
fours while you're playing.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
What do you say?
How uncomfortable would that be? You'd have to run around on all fours.
You have to lick yourself to like refill on ammo or something.
That would be terrible. That's an awful idea. Like the game doesn't register you're playing unless your hands are on the ground because you have like the wrist things. Jeez.
See, this would be great. Now that'd be an immersive sim. I'd be all about that.
Oh man.
All right, so I'm gonna speed us up a little bit. So actually, my favorite thing from here was a game I actually already knew about, but it's a game called the Callisto Protocol, which, if you guys don't know, this is made by one of the creators of the Dead Space games. But since he no longer works with that company, he went on to make his own thing. He has his own studio, and this is his new game, which basically is Dead Space.
Yeah, I thought this was Dead Space at first. I'm like looking at him like, did I miss something?
I freaking love Dead Space, so like I'm perfectly okay with it. Hey,
Is
man.
this going to be too homage for you though?
Homage.
No, Dead Space
Because
is...
this straight up looks like Dead Space, man. I mean,
It does, yeah.
But I guess it probably depends on how much you like Dead Space because, for someone who loves a certain type of game, to have it all over again for like the first time, even though it's the same game.
well, that's just going back then to your Trek to Yumi thing. Like, that's
Yeah.
not negative then. So I'm just saying. Remember, I gotta do everything opposite of you, Chaz.
Homage.
To be fair, horror games have to like... There's not a huge... I don't know, I feel like horror games just have to fit in a few like specific spots to their fan base. It's like, I don't know, I feel like
Have
you
to
can...
check certain boxes.
Yeah, there have to be certain boxes checked, and if you're able to do that, people will love your game. And I don't know, I love Dead Space. I don't know, I like sci-fi and I like horror, so again, this is another sci-fi horror game made by a former Dead Space dev, so I'm happy with it.
I'm probably not gonna play it.
You can
It's all right. We'll watch the stream.
you can watch my stream. Most definitely, I'll play it. We had this game. I don't know if you guys cared about this one. Was it Roller something? What was this one called?
Yeah, I don't remember the roller thing. I know it was roller skating.
It was called Roller Drome.
Roller Dome.
No,
Drome.
pass.
Roller Drome, man.
Yeah, it looked kind of interesting. I don't really like the art style, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't really see how like difficult it is when like you're the only one that can move around like that, and all the enemies.
Is this just, it's a single player game?
I don't know. Just the enemies look stagnant.
It looks like it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the art style, but I'm not necessarily too keen on the gameplay.
Yeah, it looks alright.
Fast.
Yeah, I'll move us on to another one. I tell you what, I'm just gonna go through. If there's any game that you guys see that looks interesting, we'll stop. But this game, I think the kind of point of it is that it is a... What do they call it? They call
Like
it...
a dating
it's a
sim,
dating
RPG,
sim RPG.
action thingy.
Yeah.
JC's gonna be all about this.
No, Chazzy-kun.
I mean, it's not my type of game. I mean, maybe I'd be down to play it. I don't know. It's not...
Oh man, I haven't seen this whole preview.
It's not exactly...
Oh, hold R2 to hold hands. There we
Yeah.
go.
I don't think this is something I'd like to play. I mean...
But would your fans want to watch you play it?
Oh, get that Patreon up, all right?
Maybe, I don't know. To be honest, I would rather go play, like... I've never played any of the Persona games. I'd rather go try out one of those than, like, play this, maybe, but...
Yeah, do that.
well, they're
That's
long,
my
man.
recommendation.
No.
I like that one.
So this game's called Eternites, if you don't know. I'm happy for you if you love it. Another major one is something that I'm not particularly crazy about. I mean, they announced Street Fighter 6. If you didn't know, if you didn't notice, they actually changed the logo. Remember when we did a section talking about that logo and all the hubbub about that?
And it's still not very good.
It's actually worse, I think. But
I don't think it's worse. I mean, I get what they're trying to do with the Roman numeral thing on there. It's just, I don't know. It's just funny.
So, any interest? I'm not really a fighter game type of person. Like, I think if there is a fighter series I like, it's Mortal Kombat, and that's purely because of the nostalgia and just the craziness of those games. You know, maybe the gore.
Street Fighter's too hard for me. Like you get like Mortal Kombat, you can button mash your way through and still have fun. Like that's kind of fighter I am. Street Fighter though, you can't do that. You gotta know the mechanics, and that's just too much effort for me.
This is the hubbub people are making though about this game. Is if you notice, there is an open worldness single player. It looks like if you notice this it looks like a created character, and he's running around this town doing all sorts of things. So they're clearly adding some sort of open world story thing to it, which is
I feel like that's going to be kind of, I don't know, because what are the interactions you're going to do that are going to be worthwhile? It feels like just padding. I don't know.
I agree. Boo.
Well, maybe they're trying out something new and seeing, what they can make of it.
They're not allowed.
Why are you
Stick
being
to what
so...
you do.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
No,
be negative then.
No, you're right.
I'll
just looking at what they were doing. He's just like running around, punching a box. I don't know. It just didn't look like it was engaging open world side content. It seemed like just the way they're going to piece together the fights, which I don't know. I guess if that's what you're into.
Fighting games fans are like so hardcore though. It's going to be people that like fighting games are probably going to get what they want, I would assume. I mean,
it's going to come down if the fighting mechanics are good, though. Like, no one ultimately is going to care about the open world side, because Street Fighter is competitive. Yeah. So, unless the fighting mechanics are really good, they're not going to give a crap about anything else. And I know, like, for Street Fighter 5 was the most recent one, people blasted that thing because it was not good. It had a lot of issues when it first came out, so...
Yeah. Alright, so another one, we got an announcement that Tunic is coming to PlayStation. Again, on my streams, I don't know if you got to watch it, but I wanted to come back to the game. I don't know, I never did.
He couldn't do it. He wasn't very good at games, so it was too hard for him.
You talked me into coming back to it, and I just never got around. Did you ever finish the game?
No, I didn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted to get further than you. You stopped right before the first real boss, and I realized that I'm like, all right, I just have to beat this one boss, and I'm better than Chaz. That's all I want to do.
Mm-hmm. I think I know how you ended up in the basement.
You think you're?
I enjoyed Tunic though, for what I played. I know you did too.
You think you're holding that over my head? You can have that title as better Tunic player than ChazmaN. I don't know. But yeah, I thought the game was just okay. What I played. I mean, what about you?
I like Tunic, and I do want to come back. It's just I know it's one of those games I got to spend some time with, and I don't know. I don't have a lot of time right now, unfortunately, but I enjoyed it. I like the art style, and we talked about this before, so go back to episode, 3.2 to get our opinion.
Again, I think my big problem is I went into that game immediately after failing at Elden Ring, and those two experiences back-to-back were just like, not what you want.
Didn't you see there's a mod now for co-op in Elden Ring? I'm not sure if it's only PC. I would imagine it probably is, but... Maybe that's your chance, Chaz. Get some real gamers to help you out.
I'm perfectly fine. I did think it was funny how, like, a lot of people were so happy that they announced they were bringing modding to Elden Ring at some point down the line, and I'm like, so you're okay with them bringing modding, but you're not okay with them having difficulties in the game? You can't have it both. Like, I thought it was just like
you can have it both ways. I take a different stance on this with game difficulties, and we won't go into it here, but just in general,
so
if the developer...
Can you mod difficulties into the game then?
You could, but that's then up to the player. I don't feel like the developers should have to do this. They develop the game for the experience that they want you to have, and they personally like having their game difficult. Now, if they want to then open up so fans can do whatever... That's up to the fans to do. I don't think that should be a requirement for the developer to have to add an easy mode for you.
Tell you what, I'll go back to Elden Ring when I can mod an infinite health bar that never drops down to 0.
Okay, you have to learn how to code first, and I'm not teaching you.
Nope, never. Alright, so we move on to another one. This game's been kind of odd. I know they showed this at a couple events, but it's some sort of like bike riding. I honestly don't know what to expect from this one. I know it's a lady riding it. I don't know. I'm not going to keep going on. I'm not that interested. What
I
about
skipped this. I saw the start of the trailer. I'm like, nope, this isn't for me, and I just skipped right through.
It's purely aesthetic.
Maybe if she were a cat riding a bike, I would be more into it.
Maybe.
No, this one just didn't catch me, and I don't know. Maybe I'm a bad person. I didn't give it a chance.
It doesn't rustle my jimmies. Not one bit. So yeah, what was the? I don't even remember. I think it was like a really weird name. It's no, you get out of here, Yoshida. Season, a letter to the future. I don't know. Pass. And then I guess what was this the last one? Yes, our last announcement was Final Fantasy 16.
Woo!
Is this something you guys have any fondness for?
Yeah. I like most of the Final Fantasy games. I haven't played every single one of them, but I try to play most of the mainline ones. I am in the minority who liked 15. I know it was just like, a boy band traveling on their little adventure together, but I enjoyed that. Some brotherly love. I like the combat in 15. I think a lot of people thought it was too neutered, but I like that this looks like an expansion on that.
Well, this game, though, since you liked 15, this game looks like it's definitely going more serious, and it's leaning away from like the kooky boy band type stuff that 15 had going on. Is that something you're interested in? Because this game doesn't look like it has any humor whatsoever. Although
it's probably got very awkward Japanese humor, which I love that. I think what I like about this is it's less of the modern Final Fantasy. Like 15 was very kind of modern day, drive around their souped-up car.
The original the original first handful of games were very much like
medievally fantasy. Yeah. This is very much a harking back to that, or even more of like Final Fantasy 14-ish, which I love 14. So this looks kind of like a middle ground between 14 and 15.
I love 14. 14's good.
And granted, completely different games because 14 MMO, whole different story. But I'm digging this. It looks like it's gonna be better than 13, which is not saying a whole lot.
Was that Lightning? Lightning, whatever.
Yeah.
I remember your buddy, Jeremiah, loved those games. Always seeing him play Lightning or whatever those games were.
Yeah, I just remember I played the first 13. And I played it for a good 10 hours, and apparently I stopped right before it went good. But I still hold, if a game takes 10 hours to get good, it's not really a good game. I don't know, it might have good components to it, but game's got to catch you at some point.
No, fair enough. Yeah. What did you think? Interesting way to end the show? I mean, I thought it was fine.
Using third parties, that's the best way I think they could have done it.
Yeah. Go ahead, JC.
It looks gorgeous. I think my problem is I don't have the time to sink into something like this, but if someone plays it, I would definitely watch it at my convenience. It looks beautiful.
I think I'm trying to remember how long 15 took me. I mean, I played a lot of 15. I fished for like 20 hours. But I don't know. But I mean, you just have to expect that with a Final Fantasy game. You're in it for a while.
Overall, really great show. I think them kind of talking down how much they were going to show really helped with expectations, surprisingly. I mean, I feel like they definitely showed more than Sony said they were supposed to give here. But any other?
The big thing was Final Fantasy.
Yeah. See, for me, it was Callisto Protocol. That was the only thing I really walked away where I was like, yeah, that's going to get played. And that comes out Christmas time. Get some space horror during the holidays.
Is that what you'd like in your stocking?
Yeah.
Now, is that a PlayStation exclusive, though? That's something to keep in mind, too.
That's on both.
Yeah, a lot of these games are going to be on both systems. Now, of course, the VR stuff's going to be exclusive to, PlayStation, but you always have to keep that in mind. A lot of these games could be multi-plat, might end up on Game Pass. I
don't know what Final Fantasy is right now. As far as I know, I think it's a
multi-plat,
PlayStation 5.
Right? Is it?
I
could be wrong. I haven't heard that.
The last one launched on PlayStation first.
No. 15 was on both.
Was it?
Because I have the day one edition for Xbox, unless that counts as a different release date. But I'm pretty sure they released the same day. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but 15 was both.
I'll take your word. I don't remember. Right. All right, so yeah, once again, I actually thought it was a pretty good event. And let's see, our final topic is something I kind of thought would be super fun.
Wait, hold on, we have to ask. JC, what does your 8-ball say about the event?
Which event? The one we just talked about, or the next one?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up the one we just read.
Oh, okay.
Oh, better not tell you now.
You already saw
Okay.
that. I think your 8-ball's broken.
No, it's just. Let me give it a good shake.
Yeah.
My sources say no.
Oh, well, there's
I guess
the
ChazmaN
word
is
to go
not my
by.
source. All right.